Hello YouTube, what is up? How's it going? So today I got a movie review for you. That's right, we are reviewing Weapons. It's a new film from Zach Cregger, whose last movie was Barbarian, which is a movie that I really liked a lot. It's got Julia Gardner, it's got Josh Brolin. We're going to talk about it. So first things first, I want to go ahead and say, I'm going to try my best to not have spoilers in this review. I don't really think my review has any spoilers in it really. But having said that, it is best to go into this movie knowing as little as possible going into it because it's great. And if you don't know as much as I did going into it, you're going to have an even better time. So I just want you to know, maybe you should pause this video now, and then when you get home after seeing it, continue watching. So you've been warned, and let's get into this. So first of all, if you liked Barbarian, you're probably going to love this too. If you didn't like Barbarian, your mileage may vary. But, I mean, come on. Who doesn't like Barbarian? Great movie. This is an excellent follow-up film for Zach Cregger, and it makes me even more excited to see whatever it is he's cooking with Resident Evil. I think he's got to be cooking something fantastic because, my goodness, after Barbarian and this guy just gets it, man. It is awesome. The movie, as illustrated by the trailers, it's got a great hook. With the kids running out in the night, like doing that Naruto run, and just disappearing. You don't know what's going on. But, however, what follows after all of that, along with how this movie is structured, that's what really helps continue to keep you hooked for the entire 2-hour runtime. It's pretty masterful what Cregger's doing here. Now, Cregger, he's spoken about how Magnolia is a big influence on him for this movie. And that becomes apparent right away. It's structured pretty similarly. It's got multiple character POVs. It keeps you guessing on how all of this is going to tie together at the end. And it's pretty great. Some of it you may be like, oh, does this matter? And then maybe it doesn't matter at the end. You know what I mean? That's very much how Magnolia did it as well. It's pretty awesome. Speaking of keeping you guessing, this movie does a great job of doing just that. There was never a single time when I knew what was going to happen next. As a matter of fact, I went with my dad to see this in IMAX. And there was a moment about like 30 minutes in where he was like, I ain't got a clue where this is going. This is awesome. And I was like, I agree. This is awesome. Because I love it when I get really surprised by a movie. You know, I never once knew what was going to happen next, and I never really knew how one character storyline was going to tie into the next until it happened, of course. And it was, man, when these storylines are connected, man, you're going like, oh my god, what's going on? But going off of that, I do want to say one flaw this movie may have. I don't think it's a flaw. I actually really love this about the movie, but due to the structure of it, it may come across as a slow burn for some people, mainly because that first hour is really building up that tension, winding things up, so that last hour can just pop off. But for me, I was like enthralled the entire time. I was hooked, and that's mostly due to great writing of the central characters here, along with like the side characters. I think the side characters in this are great. I'm not going to spoil who's playing a lot of the side characters in this because every time a new person popped up, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were in this movie. That's awesome. And they give great performances as well. But from the great central characters, along with the performances that each actor's given here, everyone's really at the top of their game. There's probably one standout in the cast, but I think everyone is a standout. That one person I will talk about later. This is someone I didn't know was in the movie. Had no idea what her character was even doing really, until she showed up, and I was like, what the heck is going on? This movie may have just gone a little too far, but it ended up working perfectly. But like I said, we'll talk about her at the very end, you know, because I don't want to like ruin anything for too many people. But like I said, everyone is at the top of their game here. They're a real standout. So from Julia Gardner and Josh Brolin, who are the two central main characters in this, to other actors and characters like Alden Ehrenreich and Austin Abrams, who are playing a cop and a homeless meth addict, everyone is written here and performed in interesting and really nuanced ways. No one here is flat out unlikable or likable, but they rather feel like real people in a really extreme situation. However, some really fucked up shit happens to these characters. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget the stuff that Benedict Wong's character goes through in this movie. It's genuinely insane. And, you know, similar to Justin Long's character in Barbarian, I was constantly going back and forth on how I felt about the characters in this movie, the more and more the movie progressed. You know, in Barbarian, there was really two characters where you're going like, hey, what's going on with this guy? Which was with Justin Long and Bill Skarsgård, right? Justin Long's character was really interesting in the sense that he gets set up as like a bad guy, but then as the movie progresses, you're like, is he really a bad guy? Until, you know, eventually you're like, well, yeah, he kind of is. And Bill Skarsgård's character was very much a question of like, this guy's bad, right? But then, you know, turned out he wasn't. Spoilers for Barbarian, sorry. And this movie does a similar thing with all of the characters in this movie. I think the writing for the characters in this movie, probably the best part of it, funny enough. He really is just killing it here. But also, like Barbarian, this movie is juggling a lot of things, especially tonally. There's a real sense of despair that permeates throughout the film. It feels, in a lot of ways, like the people in this town, they've mostly given up on finding the kids. And that's part of what's attributing to their anger and frustration, particularly with Josh Brolin's character. Also, this movie is legitimately scary at times. There's a real sense of dread throughout, along with some really great just winding up of tensions, and then, like, you know, having a pop-off scare that just have incredible payoffs. And they make you say, what the fuck, just as much as the characters in the film. It's pretty great. And every, like, scare pop feels cathartic. And we'll get into some more cathartic stuff later on in the review. But I also really love how creepy and off-putting Cregger makes the suburbs feel in this movie. This movie takes place in the suburbs. And I grew up in the suburbs. And, you know, most of the time, it was fine. But sometimes, particularly at night, there would be times when I'd go outside and there was just such this weird creepiness to how quiet everything was and how dark it would get. The only sound being the streetlights and the only light being from those streetlights. And honestly, it just had this weird feeling of emptiness, but also like I was being watched. And this movie does a great job of capturing that feeling here as well. I was kind of surprised by it. I was like, wow, this is really reminding me of how I feel sometimes as a kid, you know, like stepping outside at night after everything had kind of like wind down. All my friends had gone home and it was time to just kind of chill, but I wanted to go outside and relax or something. And it's just like, hey, this is kind of creepy, man. And this movie, like I said, does a great job of capturing that feeling. Now, having said all of that, though, this film is also hilarious. There's moments of this movie that were so funny. Like, I could hardly breathe from laughing so hard. I can't believe that I have now had 2 movies this year with The Naked Gun and now this, where I could not believe how funny they were. And I'm so happy about that. And it really makes, I think this movie's going to really kill on a rewatch for me. I really love it. But once again, this movie is just a testament to how good Cregger is at winding up tension and popping it in the most unexpected ways. It's pretty great. I mean, he's really, really just sitting there blowing up these balloons, and you're going like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then it pops in the either the scariest or the funniest way possible. It's great. Speaking to that, and speaking of the catharsis we were talking about earlier, this movie has an ending that is so cathartic, so wild, crazy, and scary, that then also leads into one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a movie this year, and really in a while. It really is just fantastic. And like I said, I can't believe there's now 2 movies that have made me laugh this hard this year. Laughter's back at the movies, baby, let me tell you. And so due to all of this, this movie's my kind of jam, just period. I'm going to have to give it 5 stars. This movie is batshit crazy, but it's also one that really earns that moniker. It's got excellent scares, it's got great humor, and really top-tier performances. Now let's go back to talking about those top-tier performances. There's one performance in particular. It's from actress Amy Madigan, who hasn't been in a movie in a little bit. She's married to Ed Harris. She is phenomenal in this. She's so fantastic that I really legitimately hope she gets nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Warner Brothers, make that happen, please. It's such a crazy, just almost out of nowhere type of role, but it's also one that's like genuinely menacing, along with being scary, on top of being just really fantastical and like, you know, what the heck is going on. And the way that Amy Madigan is able to like thread that needle on this role is really nothing short of masterful. She really deserves all the praise here. She's so fantastic. So yeah, that's my review of Weapons. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. That way, you'll know whenever I've got a new video up or when I go live. and I will see you guys all in the next video. Man, this movie rules. Go see it this weekend. You're going to have a blast. It's really going to kill with an audience. I can't wait to see it again just so I can see how the audience reacts. My audience loved it. My dad loved it. I loved it. And I think you're going to love it as well. Peace.